So good evening, everyone. As representatives of the Board of Emanu-El, John and I want to welcome the esteemed scholar, Rabbi Larry Holman. He's the rabbi's rabbi, as you'll hear tonight. As a board, we want to express how excited we are about celebrating the ascension of Rabbi Bauer to be our senior rabbi and our leader. He's been with us since 2005, first as an intern, and almost 18 years as an associate rabbi. If God has his way, we hope that he spends his entire career with us. The conversation about Rabbi Bauer became real back in 2018 when Donnie Friend was our president, making this easily the longest runway of any senior rabbi in history. And given that, we want to extend our deep appreciation to Rabbis Beth and Jonathan Singer for supporting Rabbi Bauer in his pursuit for mentoring him and their wisdom and their grace. They've been the mensches of mensches and have lovingly handed the reins of this community over to Rabbi Bauer. As I thought about what I wanted to say tonight about Rabbi Bauer, I decided to reread the Visions of Reform. That's Fred Rosenbaum's Journal of Emanu-El's History. I wanted to understand better how his upcoming leadership fits into the overall picture of Emanu-El over its 175 years. And a couple of the dominant patterns jumped out. It revolves around progressive thinking and building and keeping a strong relationship with our interfaith family. There are 11 chapters in Vision. 10 chapters are dedicated to the senior rabbis that preceded the singers. Rabbi Pierce is the last chapter, and the chapter about the singers is yet to be written. We'll talk a little bit more about what Ryan may have to come in the next chapter. So the Visions really covers the really high peaks and the valleys that this community has been through. And while we're going through some tough times right now, our congregation is in incredible shape. And given the transformation of our campus, we feel like Rabbi Bauer may be leading us into a golden age. Over the past several months, we've had the fortune to observe Rabbi Bauer in his new role as our senior rabbi, leading the clergy through the high holidays, presiding over the October 7th memorial, helping to lead board meetings, blessing babies, blessing young couples to be married, and consoling families who've lost loved ones. He's doing this with grace, soul, integrity, love, and authority. So 2 weeks ago, I was asked to give a hard hat tour. Rabbi Bauer asked me to join the interfaith group for a look at our new building. I have to say the love and appreciation of this group for Rabbi Bauer was palpable. As we walked through the new building, each one of Rabbi Bauer's cohorts were encouraging of him and expressed joy and excitement for him. He has already built an amazing relationship with each and every one of them. So while cliche, Rabbi Bauer, you're a modern progressive rabbi, and you feel like the right rabbi at the right time. Given your youth, God willing, you will lead us right up to the 2nd century of our community. So case in point about his youth and his accessibility. 3 weeks ago, on a Friday afternoon, I gave Rabbi Bauer a call and I said, I'm thinking about climbing to the top of the crane today. Do you want to join me? So he's on his way back from memorial service. He shows up in his suit, in his dress shoes, and he climbs 140 feet up a ladder to the very top of the crane. And it was really, it's metaphorical. There you stood above the dome, giddy with excitement, overlooking your community. It was a powerful metaphor. So I'm deeply moved tonight, thinking about what the next chapter of Visions may be, and I think what may happen in the Visions chapter is probably a photo of you on the top of the tower crane, overlooking your community. So, and the captions may say, modern rabbi standing 140 feet above the new courtyard, looking after his community. Mazel tov and Shabbat Shalom.
So the lesson for tonight is I should not follow Joel as a speaker. How do we pick a new rabbi, a new senior rabbi? This is a very complicated question. And when the question came up 3 or 4 years ago, the board had to make a decision. Do we turn to the outside and recruit someone? That worked great with the singers. They were magnificent, and they were here for 11 years, and it was an extraordinary experience. But what the board quickly concluded, and I don't want you to feel too good, Ryan, because I got bad things to say about you too, but what the board quickly concluded was that we had the right person here. And that doing a search, which was expensive and time-consuming and can be controversial, really didn't make sense, even though it did make sense when we recruited the singers. So we decided not to do a search. Sort of the devil you know versus the devil you don't, right? Not to suggest that there are any devils. So why did we pick him? Obviously, his experience here, that's been spoken about already. But there's another more complex issue, which is that when you're going to hire a rabbi, when you're going to promote a rabbi, you're looking for a whole variety of things, and nobody is great at everything. I mean, Joel and I are, but nobody else is. You look for compassion, you look for spirituality, you look for intellect, and you look for common sense. And if you have a senior rabbi who's got compassion and spirituality, but no common sense, the congregation is going to die. Money will not be raised, people will not be hired properly, people will not be fired properly, things are just not going to go right. So that's not a good solution. But there's an even worse solution, which is to hire someone who has common sense, but no spirituality and no philosophy, and who doesn't understand in those moments of joy and solace and pain and difficulty in his kishkas what it is that you should do. And so when we looked at Ryan, and I actually was not on the board at the time, but he's sad to say I now am. When the board looked at Ryan, it was just clear that we had the right person here. We did. Here he is. We have a very complex, big tent here. We have a lot of congregants. We have a lot of employees. We have a lot of programs. This is not a casual job. It is a full-time job. And keep in mind that the job of an associate rabbi or senior associate rabbi, which was his title, is at its core a solo practitioner job. It's like being a center fielder for the Giants. All you have to do is catch and throw and hit. And all of a sudden, imagine if you ask the center fielder, you say, you're going to be the captain of the team, and oh, by the way, you're also going to be the general manager of the team, and you're going to have to worry about making the place run and putting people in the seats and dealing with problems. And by the way, the senior rabbi is the lightning rod. When anybody's got something they want to yell about, that's who they yell at. This was a new lesson for Rabbi Bauer. So it is really hard. So how's it going? You can answer that question better than I can. If you were at High Holidays, you know how it's going. It's going great. And if you saw the young clergy that we have, and Rabbi Bauer played a big role in the recruiting of all of the younger clergy members, you see what we have here. It is extraordinary. Rabbi Hoffman told me when we spoke by video, we have the greatest young clergy group in America. I mean, is that all Rabbi Bauer? No, he had people helping him in a whole variety of ways, but it's him. If we don't have a good senior rabbi, everything else is going to go amiss. So, no pressure, Ryan. Seriously, everybody here is behind him. The board is super excited to be on this journey with him. And so, Ryan, Shabbat Shalom and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.